Okay, sir, you can start. Sonu, please.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Good evening to one and all. Survival of the fittest, a well-established and well-known theory proposed by Charles Darwin. In a true sense, this theory persists in almost all the fields of our lives too. Everyone is looking for the aptest one to fill up a gap. Companies and the organizations will always look forward to the best candidate for their requirements. Here arises the urge to update and upgrade ourselves to enter and excel in the field. We need to compete with ourselves to be the better versions, not with others, because every human beings differ from others in many aspects. And more significantly, we need to know how to market ourselves. When we are before someone else, what they will learn about us will be the things that we let them know, especially during our interviews and job seeking journeys. We need to take care of many more things to convey our strength and abilities to the recruiters. A resume is not just a paper, it's a powerful current of information that gives a picture about ourselves. Apart from our resume, each of our words, actions, appearance, and all convey millions of impressions to them. In a nutshell, it is all about how we are showcasing ourselves or how we are marketing ourselves. Yes, we are in the right place. Here, we are going to listen some of the valuable tips to make our resume strong and adapt with some professional guidance to impress the recruiters. The most respected pharma fraternity gathered here. I am Sonu Benny, PhD research scholar, Amrita School of Pharmacy, Cochin. I feel incredibly grateful to be the master of ceremony of this event. On behalf of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association and Indian Pharmacy Graduates Association, I would like to invite all of you to this gracious occasion of webinar with immense pleasure. Hearty welcome one and all to the webinar on marketing yourself, resume writing, and interview tips. As we know, well begun is half done. Let's start with a prayer song to seek blessings from God Almighty. An efficient leader is like a guiding star to the success. It is my privilege to invite the strength of IPGA, Dr. C.S. Sadish Kumar, President, IPGA-Kerala State Chapter, and the former Drugs Controller of Kerala State Government to propose the welcome address. With much respect, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sonu. President of KPGA, Dr. Sri Kumar, my good old friend. Mrs. Minu, Treasa, Speaker of the Day. My colleagues and my dear students and research scholars, welcome to this national seminar. It's on marketing yourself, resume writing, and interview tips. It is jointly organized by KPGA and IPGA-Kerala branch. Please note that resume is a verb form with the meaning begin again or continue after the pause. And resume is a noun form with the meaning summary of your personal, educational, and professional qualifications and experience prepared for a job. So the resume acts as a bridge between you and the prospective employer or recruiter. Similarly, interviews provide an opportunity for you and your potential employer to decide how well your skills align with company's needs. So the importance of both resume and interview can never be underestimated. No employer has much time to spend these days in resume and interview. So the competition is very much stiff, high, and tough, So first impression is the best impression, as you know. So be your resume as well as your interview skills be separate and unique so that your chances are always brighter for a good job. Okay, let me resume my duties. Let me welcome our President KPGA, Dr. Srikumar, retired Deputy DC, and presently active in many social and educational activities to preside over this webinar. Welcome, G. With immense privilege, let me cordially welcome our speaker of the day, Mrs. Minu Treasa, the Regional Marketing Manager of Terumo Group, to this August program. Let me wholeheartedly welcome my colleagues, Dr. Sandhya S., Mr. Abdul Nasser, Dr. Jini, and Dr. Sajid, to this joint webinar for their functional responsibilities with a big salute for their dedication and supports to our activities so far. The most important participants of the day are our beloved students and research scholars from various universities who could benefit with this program on marketing themselves. Welcome you all. So market yourself means show yourself in the best light to employers. It is very important that you can show you are good fit for job. The person who gets a job may not be the most skilled. They are good in promoting themselves as marketing. So selecting the right skills to feature is an important part of creating an effective resume and facing an interview. Wish you all the best. Over to Sonu.
Thank you so much, sir. A good organizer is the foundation of success. It is my privilege to invite the backbone of KPGA, Dr. P.K. Srikumar, President, Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association, and the former Deputy Drugs Controller of Kerala State Government for the presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sonu. Good evening to one and all. Respected Dr. Sadish Kumar, sir, the President of IPGA-Kerala Chapter. Sri Abdul Nasir, Honorable Secretary of KPGA. Mrs. Minu Treasa, speaker of today's session. Dr. Nishit, convener of this particular program. Dr. Sandhya, convener of our essay competition recently held. Professor Dr. Jini, the moderator of this session. Dr. Sajid, Vice President, IPGA-Kerala Chapter. Ms. Sonu, other dignitaries, and my dear students. The competition to reach at a higher position is a major hurdle in the current scenario, and for which marketing by ourselves is a precursor for that. Any organization, whether it can be industry, it can be research organization, education, institutions, or any other establishment, a candidate is attracted, whether for considering for a test or interview or admission, everything is based on their qualifications, experience, and achievements. These can be projected to the authorities through a properly designed resume, which should be captured at first sight itself. Another important challenge for any job is none other than interview, through which a first-hand assessment of the ability, attitude, capacity, etc. are measured by the interviewers. So research, punctuality, commitment, communication, listening, everything is important. Keeping these in mind, the two associations organized this particular session. And today, our eminent speaker, who has much experience and knowledge, gives you a blend of all those essential and tips to make foundation for you to construct your future. Dear young generation, the associations take all efforts to strengthen the profession through strengthening the youth and make them confident to achieve the goal. KPGA is organizing, of course, a series of webinars, out of which already 6 are over, about the career opportunities abroad. And of course, as well as in India, we are planning, and everything is there in the YouTube. A major step in the history of KPGA is the formation of Students' Forum of KPGA through the efforts made by the inspiring academicians. The declaration of the formation of the forum was organized jointly by St. Joseph College of Pharmacy, Cherdala and Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association, in which our legend, Dr. Sister Betty Carla, was honored. One of the stalwarts and veteran Vyasans are also contributed much for that. And both deserves more than that, the inspiring words and dignitaries, especially the eminent academicians in the platform, definitely boosted the youngsters gathered there. The organizer, Dr. Bobby, was one of the pillars behind this great event. Our Dr. Sandhya, our executive member with, of course, guidance of Dynamic Secretary Abdul Nasir and Satish sir, Nishit, Bobby, Sangeeta, Jenny, and Sonu. They have all contributed and conducted a very beautiful competition for our students at various colleges. And essay competition on pharmaceutical waste management is the need of the hour. Our planet, our health. It is the theme and highlights a topic that needs serious attention, and hence the topic of the essay is much important, for which we, the pharmacists, should be the leaders to protect our Mother Earth from the menace of pharmaceutical waste and other waste. Lot of colleges were participated with the utmost support of academicians, and the winners would be rewarded and essays would be published in our official publication Farmline. Let me also inform you another major event. On March 18th, KPGA sowed seeds for the much awaited Pharmacity by submitting the proof of concept to the Honorable Industries Minister. The technical resources of our association, they prepared the project report covering all the essentials and presented it before the government very effectively. Hope our dream project, which can be the backbone of the economy of our state and country, would be a reality in near future. The various behind the proposal deserve the full credit. The survival and growth of our own KSDP is also another issue on which association takes keen interest. Thank you all behind these programs. Thank you executive members and pioneer members of all associations, Students Forum. We will work together to enrich our students and job aspirants. You are the future of the state of the country. Wishing you a wonderful future and be the real strength and values to our health sector. Be in front. I wish the program another great success. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. As we know, commitment to the profession is the driving force for KPGA and IPGA to organize this webinar to help our budding pharmacists to groom themselves. With the same intention, KPGA, jointly with IPGA, has organized an essay writing competition on last 30th in association with World Health Day to motivate the young talents in our student community. To present a report on this competition, with much respect, let me invite an impulsive pharma professional, Dr. Sandhya is Executive Member, Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sonu. I take this privilege in reading the report on essay writing competition conducted as part of observance of World Health Day celebration. Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association, jointly with Indian Pharmacy Graduates Association, organized an essay writing competition on the topic Impact of Pharmaceutical Waste on Global Health for pharmacy students as part of observance of World Health Day 2022 with the theme Our Planet, Our Health. World Health Day is celebrated every year to raise awareness about the ongoing health issues that concern people across the globe. The competition was aimed to encourage the young, talented students to update themselves and to frame their own stance for being better professionals who love Mother Earth and nature. The above-mentioned essay topic was selected to inspire our young budding pharmacists who are tomorrow's eminent healthcare professionals to take care of the community who are not much aware of the hazards interconnected with improper disposal of pharmaceutical waste. An invitation was sent to principals of all the pharmacy colleges to conduct the competition for all the B Pharm, Pharm D, and M Pharm students on 30th of March 2022 at 1 p.m. at their respective colleges. For ease of communication and smooth conduct of the program, the association informed the colleges to appoint a coordinator and 1 or 2 evaluators for the preliminary round of evaluation. After the competition, the coordinators were instructed to email the scanned copy of the best 2 essays on or before 3rd of April 2022. We received an overwhelming response from 18 pharmacy colleges. The colleges are Dr. Joseph Marthoma Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, Kattanam, KTN College of Pharmacy, Palakkad, Prime College of Pharmacy, Palakkad, Tanja College of Pharmaceutical Studies, Palakkad, Daleview College of Pharmacy, Thiruvananthapuram, Grace College of Pharmacy, Palakkad, Chemist College of Pharmacy, Ernakulam, Nirmala College of Pharmacy, Ernakulam, Elthachan College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Thiruvananthapuram, Crescent College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Kannur, Amrita School of Pharmacy, Kochi, Karuna College of Pharmacy, Palakkad, Maulana College of Pharmacy, Perindalmana, National College of Pharmacy, Kozhikode, St. James College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Chalakudi, KVM College of Pharmacy, Cherthala, St. Joseph's College of Pharmacy, Cherthala, College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Government TD Medical College, Alappuzha. These colleges conducted the program strictly adhering to the rules and regulations set by the association. Several colleges sent us the photographs as proof, and the association feel extremely proud of our pharmacy colleges. For the final round of evaluation, the association appointed 3 evaluators: Mrs. Sangeeta, Executive Member, KPGA; Dr. Jenny Samuel, Professor, St. Joseph's College of Pharmacy, Cherthala; Dr. Sandhya, Executive Member of KPGA, and a blind review was conducted. Before giving the essays to the evaluators, the name of the students, year, semester, course, college name, college seal, etc. were erased and a code was incorporated on the PDF so that a sincere and justifiable evaluation could be performed. The average of all the 3 marks of the evaluators of each student was calculated, and the first, second, and the third prize winners were selected. The first prize winner will be awarded with a cash prize of 3,000 rupees, a certificate of merit, and a letter of appreciation. The second prize winner will be getting a reward of 2,000 rupees, a certificate of merit, and a letter of appreciation. And the third prize winner will be given a cash prize of rupees 1,000, a certificate of merit, and a letter of appreciation. The cash prize in the form of check, the certificate, and the letter of appreciation will be posted to the students after proper communication with them. The prize winners' essays will be published in the next edition of Farmline, an official publication of KPGA. The association also decided to issue a participation certificate to all the esteemed colleges who participated in the event and made it a grand success. The names of the colleges that participated with the respective principals' details, coordinator details, and evaluator details will also be published in the Farmline. Now, I would like to acknowledge the legends whose constant support and advice made this program a grand success. First and foremost, I express my sincere and respectful gratitude to all our teachers and seniors of KPGA and IPGA for all the valuable guidance in conducting this program. Thank you, one and all. I'm grateful to all our eminent office bearers, executive members of KPGA and IPGA for all the timely help and support rendered. Thank you, each one of you. I wholeheartedly thank the members of Action Committee for your effective guidance. Thank you, everyone. My sincere thanks to Dr. Bobby Johns, Executive Member of KPGA and Principal of St. Joseph's College of Pharmacy, Cherthala, for very creatively designing the certificates. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you, sir. Now, I thank Mrs. Sangeeta, Executive Member, KPGA, and Dr. Jenny Samuel, Professor, St. Joseph's College of Pharmacy, Cherthala, for effectively evaluating the essays along with me. Thank you, Mrs. Sangeeta and Dr. Jenny Samuel. My acknowledgement would be incomplete if I failed to thank my most sincere and dedicated committee members, Ms. Sonu Bene, PhD Research Scholar, Amrita School of Pharmacy, and Mrs. Rashida, PhD Research Scholar, NIPER Hyderabad, without whom this program would not have gone this smoothly. Thank you, both of you. Now, I thank everybody who directly or indirectly supported and helped us to make this entire program a great success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. Over to you, Sonu.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Congratulations for your effective conductance of the program also, ma'am.
Thank you, Sonu. Thank you so much.
The best talents from the various pharma colleges all over Kerala, and finally to the best version. Yes, here comes the declaration of the winners of the essay writing competition in association with World Health Day. With proud, I would like to invite the most dynamic General Secretary of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association, Mr. Abdul Nasir PU, and the production in charge, Kriti Private Limited Chalakudi, to declare the winners and to give away the prizes. With immense pleasure, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sonu. Respected Chairman of today's program, Dr. P.K. Srikumar sir, Dr. Sadish Kumar sir, today's invited speaker, Mrs. Minu, Treasa, Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Sajid, Dr. Nishit, Dr. Bobby Jones, executive members of KPGA and IPGA, fellow participants, and dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to announce the much-awaited result and winners of the essay writing competition conducted jointly by Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association and Indian Pharmacy Graduates Association, Kerala State Branch. With your permission, may I declare the prizes of the, winners. Third prize is shared by two participants. Mr. Rohit Krishnan, B.Pharm first semester, Pime College of Pharmacy, Palakkad. It's a matter of great pride that first semester student got the third prize in the essay writing competition. And the third prize is shared by Ms. Sana Zainab, B.Pharm third semester, Karuna College of Pharmacy, Palakkad. Now, second prize goes to Ms. Gayatri Vinodam, B.Pharm third year, Amrita School of Pharmacy, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, Kochi. The first prize is also backed by Amrita College of Pharmacy. First prize goes to Ms. N. Parvati, third year Pharm D, Amrita School of Pharmacy, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, Kochi. My sincere congratulations to all the winners. I take this opportunity to congratulate you again and requesting all the students for all the upcoming programs of our association. Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you so much, sir, and congratulations to all the winners and to all the participants. A very relevant topic for all the young aspirants over here. To make all of you capable of marketing yourself with the most significant impact, we have Ms. Minu Treasa, a well-established regional marketing manager. To know further about our eminent speaker of the day, let us welcome an exemplary experienced pharma academician, Dr. Ginny E.J., Professor, Delview College of Pharmacy and Research Center, Trivandrum, to moderate the session and to introduce the speaker. With much respect, over to you, ma'am.
Good evening to all. Resume is an important tool for our job search because it is where we can display our top skills and quality. Resumes help employers to make hiring decisions and help us get our first interview. During this session, you'll get to know more about resume writing and some important tips that are to be noted while giving a resume. I am so glad to introduce our eminent speaker, Mrs. Minu Treasa, Regional Marketing Manager, Terumo Blood and Cell Technologies, Belgium. Mrs. Minu has completed her B.Pharm in the year 2006 and Masters in the year 2009 from Government Medical College, Trivandrum. Mrs. Minu started her career with Terumo Penfold in 2009 with the new product development department in blood bank factory. Later, she moved to marketing and her role was marketing in India. She worked as a product manager in the whole blood core and whole blood automation business in India, where she was responsible for driving and implementing strategies around these business segments. Recently, she moved to Terumo Blood and Cell Technologies as marketing manager for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, where she is responsible for implementing strategies in automated collection segment for the countries in these regions. She has visited many countries, including US, Singapore, Cambodia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, etc., as a part of marketing excellence training programs. With this brief introduction, on behalf of KPGA and IPGA-Kerala State Branch, I welcome you, ma'am, for the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the kind introduction, and thank you once again for giving me an opportunity to present on this platform. It's indeed a pleasure, and it brings back good memories of my college days in Trivandrum. So without further ado, let us go to the topic. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, ma'am. Please
Yeah.
continue.
All right. Yeah. So the topic which has been given to me today is marketing yourself, resume writing, and interview tips. So at the onset, let me mention that in this presentation, I have not gone into too much in-depth detail on resume writing and interview tips, but I've tried to cover some key points which you'd want to consider when you write a resume or prepare yourself for an interview. So my next slide is on the contents. So the contents are essentially two: how to make a resume that stands out and how to succeed in your interview. Now let's go to the first part of it: how to make a resume that stands out. So when you start preparing to write a resume, there are a whole lot of conflicting recommendations that are out there, right? The internet has got too much information, and sometimes that can be confusing. So a few of the things that might come to your mind is, should I keep it to one page? Should I put a summary on the top? Can I include personal interest or volunteer activities? So all these are because of the knowledge that your hiring manager is going to get, hordes of resumes, almost all of the same kind. And therefore, we need to find ways to stand out and make us visible. So we need to stand out in the crowd to make ourselves more visible. So how do you do that? So these are the few things which I've learned and what experts say. The first of that, outsmart the robots. So you might think, what does it essentially mean to outsmart the robots? What are robots doing here in resume writing? The reason why I've included it here is there is increasing use of automation to screen the resumes. So there is increasing use of AI tools or artificial intelligence tools to screen or to match the language in the resume to that you have in the job description. So here what I suggest is, go through the job description, identify the language that they have used to match, to explain the key skills and the expertise, and then weave that into your resume. So some of the examples are demonstrated, launched, accomplished, developed, conducted. So these are a few examples of those keywords. And there is a tip that I'd like to give here. Try to avoid overly cluttered or loud design layouts, because it might be catchy to the human eye when you have that, good colorful pictures or design layouts, but it might be difficult for automated systems to actually screen through all of that and take the keywords out of it. So it might backfire on us. So if you really want to showcase your creative, creative side or creative talent, make an online platform and then add a link to it. I'm not knowledgeable on how to, do a good online platform, but you can always research on that. But then try to not include that in your resume. Just put a link of that if possible. Your resume has to be, straight and simple. The next important point is show off your skills. So what I mean by showing off your skills means to add a summary. So you have the name at the top and then you add a summary of what you have to offer as a professional or who you are as a professional. So this part of the resume is actually the forward-leaning section of your resume. It shows what you can offer, whereas the rest of the parts of the resume, they are the backward-leaning section. Means those will have details of what you have accomplished so far. Okay, so this part is very important. So there is a tip to write a summary. So what I suggest is you read again through the job description, make a note of the key skills and the work expertise they are looking for, and then link that to your resume, making it a point to add the number of years of experience that you have and the relevant industry you have worked. I'll come to the freshers section. I know what applies to the freshers, because I know that the crowd here would involve mostly freshers. So let me explain the one on how to write for experienced candidates, and then I'll go for the freshers. So for instance, if you're a marketing professional, because that's what I can relate to easily. So you can write something like this, pharmaceutical marketing executive with 2 years of experience, creating commercial infrastructures, growing brands, launching projects, managing a sunset of products. Something like that. So here you have covered your years of experience. You have mentioned which industry that you are in. You've mentioned your key skills which are relevant for that job. Now coming to the freshers. So freshers might be wondering, what am I going to put here? I don't have any relevant work experience kind of thing. What you can still do is scan through the job description. There might be keywords or key skills which the employer is looking for. So like something like this. Enthusiastic, highly organized college graduate with a strong ability to handle complex projects, because you might have done already projects and thesis work and internship roles during your college days, and then developing reports and analyzing data. So all these are very important in understanding what you can offer to the organization. You can also mention strong proficiency in so and so software programs. Now, most of the organizations, they do train their candidates on all the important software that they are supposed to know, like the Excel or the PowerPoint or the Word. But still, if you're proficient in these programs, always make it a point to mention that, so that adds value to your resume. So this section, which is a summary, should be not more than 3 or 4 lines or 3 or 4 bullet points. Now coming to the third important part. So I've mentioned here, don't restrict work experience to work. So I know, because the crowd here might be having both experienced candidates and the fresher candidates. I will, as I've done before, I'll start with the experienced candidates. So here, what you can do is you write your work experience in the reverse chronological order. Means the one you're doing currently, and then towards the last will be the one which you have started, the position you have held initially at the beginning of your career. And so freshers might be thinking, what are we going to put, because we don't have a work experience. You can still add a section as relevant work experience, include details of publications and papers that you have done in your academic setting, include details of your thesis work that you have done, details of the internship roles that you have done immediately after your college. So all these are relevant to the employers, because that gives an insight into what they're looking for in a candidate in terms of time management, in terms of communication, in terms of writing skills, in terms of working in a team. Because working in a team is actually a big, it's something sought out by the employers, because teamwork is absolutely essential for creating successful projects. So that gives an insight to your employer on, how well you excel in all these aspects. The next one is let the numbers do the talking. What do you mean by let the numbers do the talking? So what I meant to say from this was, now you write your relevant work experience for freshers, you write your work experience for the experienced candidates. When you write your experience, try to quantify what you have done, okay, to show how well you have succeeded. Like for instance, you can write, for freshers, you can write, I have helped in completing this project, such a big project for an organization with a record time frame of 6 months. Or if you're an experienced candidate, you can say that I have, these strategies have helped the organization increase the productivity by this much percentage or increase the revenue by this much percentage. So that actually tells not only your accomplishments, but it also gives examples of it gives an idea of the depth of your success by citing hard facts. So try to add that wherever possible. Last but not the least, add your education and accomplishments. So I have a tip over here. So if you have educational accomplishments, like you have been a rank holder in a university, or you have had good exceptional scores for some exams, then I would suggest adding this education and accomplishment section immediately after your summary. Okay, and for the rest of the candidates, it can be towards the end. So this is something which I might do. So as was said, I've done my master's and bachelor's in pharmacy from College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Medical College, Trivandrum. So the education and accomplishments are also written in the reverse chronological order. Means the most recent one. If you've done a post-graduation, then your graduation, and then your schooling. So I would write something like this. So I would write the heading of the college, the degrees I've done from that college, the graduation date, and then if there are some credentials to add on to that, if I've been a rank holder or a topper or the best outgoing student, things like that. And these are few general tips. Make it readable. So make it readable means, earlier there was a belief that the more number of pages that you have in your resume, the more competent you are. But that doesn't hold very true. Try restricting your resume to a single page. Single page would be difficult. So try restricting it to maximum 2 pages, because research has shown that the average time which a hiring manager spends on a resume is hardly 6 seconds. So within 6 seconds, they cannot read through pages and pages. So restrict it to maximum 2 pages. Ask for help. So when I mean ask for help, this doesn't restrict to resume writing or preparing for an interview. Ask for help to people around you. There are people who have walked in the same path. So there are people who have had problems and have found solutions to that. Talk to people, get their help. So once you read the resume, once you have prepared your draft resume, give it to someone to check the overall logic, the overall alignment. Alignment is very important. Grammar, spelling, punctuation. You don't want a resume with a typing error or with no full stops of semicolon or colon, because that shows how meticulous you are, and organizations do value that. Last but not the least, align your LinkedIn profile. So I've mentioned this as a last point, but this is a very important point. You make a solid resume, you align that with a good LinkedIn profile. I've not included details on how to make a good LinkedIn profile, because I think that itself is a big topic, but this is an important point. So there has been questions that should we put a photograph of ours on a resume? You need not. You can just prepare the resume based on the guidelines which I suggested, and then your photograph can be in your LinkedIn profile so that the hiring managers can link both. So this is a summary of what I'd like to mention when you prepare a resume. And on the lighter note, there is something that comes to my mind. So it's something from the college days. So as it was mentioned earlier, I did my graduate and postgraduate studies from College of Pharmaceutical Sciences. So when we had completed our post-graduation, and we had passed out, actually, our results had come and we had passed out. And then we went back to the college to see our professors. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Prasanna Kumaran sir. He used to be our professor for both graduate and postgraduate classes. So most of us were, apprehensive of what lies ahead, what does the future, look for us. And it was not, it was not very colorful at that point. A bit worried as well on how things would work out for us. So there is something which Prasanna Kumaran sir told us and which I still remember today. So I'll first say that in Malayalam and then repeat that in English for the non-Malayali crowd here. So Prasanna Kumaran sir പറഞ്ഞത് നിങ്ങൾ ഒന്നുകൊണ്ട് പേടിക്കണ്ട പഠിച്ചതൊന്നും വെറുതെ പോവില്ല. Don't worry, പഠിച്ചതൊന്നും വെറുതെ പോവില്ല. So I'm repeating that in English. So what this professor told was, don't worry, whatever you have studied, whatever you have worked for or strived for, that's not going to go in vain. No, it goes in vain only if you stop trying. So that's something keep in your mind. So whatever you have worked for and strived for is not going to go in vain. That will help you in some way or the other at some point of your life, as long as you keep trying. So with that positive note, let's go to the next topic, how to succeed in a job interview. So this is not a very difficult part because we have already done half of our work. 50% of our work is done when you make a good resume. And how to prepare for a job interview is just, adding on to that a little bit. So the number one, look at the job description and prepare for the interview by thinking of particular examples from previous experience. So what I mean by this is you have prepared your resume with your work experience or your relevant experience, your work experience for the experienced candidates and the relevant experience for the freshers. You have written everything in there. You have elaborated every single detail. What I would suggest is read through that again and again. And then if you have something additional to add on to that, because you cannot write stories in resume. So there might be things you can add on to each of it. Like, for instance, in my work experience, I put, I've been instrumental in implementing marketing strategies. So I might have given a brief of that in my resume on what I've done in that particular aspect, but then you can add on still giving more details onto that and read your resume again and again and learn it by heart. So when I say by heart, learn it by heart, because you need to be completely thorough with what you have written in your resume, because 95% of the cases when you're appearing for an interview, the interviewer will have your resume with them. They will look into that and only ask questions. So there are a few questions which you need to be prepared of. Most of the interviews that I've seen, these are the basic questions they will ask. Tell me about yourself. So when they ask you to tell about yourself, don't try to explain the whole of what is written in your resume. Just give a brief introduction. I'm so and so. I'm from this part. I'm coming from this part of India. I have the following educational qualifications, and this is my overall experience. And if needed, you can ask the interviewer, do I need to give more details of my work experience? And he will say yes or no. If he tells no, that's fine. Then wait for the next question. What are your strengths? Be very well prepared with your strengths. So you might be a highly organized person. You might be a self-starter. You might be a team worker. So always try to see what are your strengths, not just the technical part, but these parts, these aspects of your work, and try to link it to examples, each of this. Now, when you say highly organized, people can say anything, highly organized, but then try to link it to something in the way that you have organized this process in the organization, which has given the company so and so results, or I've done the project in an organized way. I've been able to complete the thesis within time or ahead of time, something like that. What are your weaknesses? And when this question is being asked, I would suggest that always don't say that, no, I don't have any weaknesses that I can think of. No, it's not the case. We're all human. We have some weaknesses in one way or the other. So try to identify one weakness which you can share with them. Like, for instance, you can tell that I'm a perfectionist in what I do. I look into attention into detail for every small stuff. So that can be frustrating for organizations because there are certain things which need to be done fast and which can take time. So you can tell them that, yes, I'm working on this part of my job or this weakness of mine and trying to improve on that. Okay. Number two, be prepared to answer your salary expectations. Why I included this part in this whole presentation is that because I believe that this is important. When, especially as a fresher, when you appear for an interview, questions might come. What do you expect as a salary? And I would suggest don't just give a figure to them. What you can possibly tell them is, see, I don't know the full scope of the project at this point of time, so that I don't know how to accurately price myself, but I'd love to know your budget. So they'll give you a budget of theirs, and then you can tell whether you align with that or not. The reason why the reason why I'm telling not to put a figure in front of them is maybe because they're planning to offer you more, and then you're settling for less. You don't want to lose out on your money. So try not to, just give a figure upfront and during an interview. Number 3, always ask questions at the end of the interview. Very important, because that shows how interested you are in that position, how passionate you are. It's not that, I don't have a job, I need to find some job, it's a survival thing, I need to find a job. It's not that way. They want to see your interest, how passionate you are. So always be prepared for some questions at the end of the job interview. Like, these are the few questions which I would think about asking. How do you measure success, particularly for this position? The first question. So by this question, what I mean is, we are trying to understand what the organization is looking as a measure of success when somebody comes to that position. So you can ask them, what do you expect in the first 30 days, the first 60 days, or the first 90 days? These are the beginning. So you can, probably you can plan ahead if you land in that job. You can understand, what the employer sees as a success in that particular position. The next question is, how do you help your team grow professionally? So most of the multinational organizations will have strong training, curriculum in place. But then it's always good to ask them, what do you do to help your team grow professionally? What are the training programs that's being given? Because that's important from a career point of view. That's important for your next big jump if you're considering moving to some other roles in the future. Then another thing is, what is a performance review process? So as what I had said, most of the multinational organizations, they will have strong performance review process in place. But still, it's always good to ask this to them so that you know what process they have in place, because otherwise it can be frustrating sometimes. If the company doesn't have a solid performance review process, it's always difficult or frustrating to stand up and then speak for yourself that I've done so much, and so I expect this increment or a performance award. So it's difficult and frustrating at times. So just to get an overall idea on how the company works. Again, the general tips: tap your network. So as I mentioned earlier, it relates to what I mentioned earlier, is ask for help. Speak to your colleagues, to your friends, to your mutual friends, to whoever is out there who can help you with, the information of connecting, get you connected to relevant people. Because the reason is, when hiring managers, they go through hordes of, resumes, they are looking for some kind of familiarity. That helps actually. So reach out to your, colleagues for help. Prepare for a remote interview. So when I mentioned prepare for a remote interview now, because most of the interviews are remote, and when an interview is remote, you need to be even more prepared. Okay, so you actually need to look all the aspects of the interview in terms of technology also. You need to be aware about the video platform they are using. So if possible, try out the link prior to the meeting if that is possible. But then check all the aspects of internet, the video, etc. Because one thing is, employers or the interviewers are going to pardon you if there is any technology glitch or things like that. But then, if you demonstrate that you're competent enough to work out through all the contingencies, it shows your competence. It shows that that person is a highly planned person or highly organized person in terms of the preparation. The second one is appearance. Very important on how you appear for your interview. I would suggest using light colors or pastel shades for your dress, both for men and women, and also a neutral background. You really don't want to have virtual beach backgrounds. That's going to be very disturbing to the person interviewing. So be very careful about your appearance. So these are the two things that I would look when you prepare for a remote interview in terms of the settings. Rehearse ahead of time. I would say that this is the most important part of it. No matter what solid resume you have, no matter whatever credentials you have, if you're not prepared, there is always a risk. Always rehearse what you have to say. Always read through your resume time and again. It should be by heart. Whatever is written in there, you should be able to communicate that effectively. Go into the interview with a positive mindset. Always keep this in mind. The reason being, it's actually very difficult to get, the same level of non-verbal communication from the interviewer, right? Because you're there only for some few minutes in there. And when you're not getting the type of feedback that you're expecting, we start to tend towards, negativity bias. We might be thinking, that interviewer is not interested, I'm not doing well. No, don't ever do that mistake. So what I suggest is rehearse ahead with a positive, with a positive attitude, and assume that all that is going to happen is in the best possible manner. So always have that positive mindset all throughout the interview, because in no way you are able to judge what the other person is thinking within that 15-20 minutes that you get during your resume. So remove all that negative things or thoughts that come into your mind. Always have that positive mindset. Last but not the least, convey warmth during an interview. So convey warmth during an interview means now this COVID, especially during this COVID time, we find people are eager to connect with people or colleagues in a more on a more emotional level. Sometimes your interviewer might be having some expectations in terms of the warmth you bring in an interview. So you can always ask how we are doing, right now, kind of some sort of that thing which brings in an overall warmth to that whole atmosphere. And please be prepared also to answer questions in that same aspect. They might ask you the same question, so you can mention that, thanks for asking, I'm also trying to do as well as possible under all the current circumstances, kind of thing. So try to bring in a warmth, atmosphere, not something which is very hostile, but try to bring in a warmth during the interview. So these are the few things that I've included in this section. And last but not the least, I'd like to emphasize something. See, job interviews are meant to see whether you are fit for the role. That's right. But at the same time, it's also meant for you to analyze whether that job position is right for you. It works both the ways. So that's all in my presentation for today. Thank you so much once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the excellent session. Now, session is open for discussion.
Ma'am, there are questions in the chat box. You please read it and.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I think moderator can read it.
Yeah, I can read it. Yeah, I can read it as well. Yeah. So there is one question. There are lots of questions. Let me go one by one. So there is a question from Rajani Kant. He's a student from a pharmacy college in Rajasthan. The question is, as a student of B.Pharm, what are the ways or skills I have to focus to achieve the post of a product manager in pharma marketing? So if you're applying as a fresher in this role, I would always suggest it would be easier if you do a management degree like MBA before you apply for a product manager role, because that can actually help you. But otherwise, as a fresher, the skills that they would be looking for is on the projects that you have worked, whatever projects you have worked as a part of your M.Pharm program, that'll give them, because as a fresher, you don't have the work experience of a product manager. But then the skills they would look forward is, how well you've managed big projects in your, thesis or the internship role, or, during your academic setting. That's one thing that can be focused. Then, so the projects related to, if it's relevant to that particular industry, like sometimes your thesis can be on, comparison of drugs kind of thing, if you're looking for a pharma industry. So that can be highlighted. And then in general, you can put your communication skills. That's very important when you apply for a product manager role, because you'll have to work with multiple people, speak to them, make visits. So if you have good communication skills, that can also be put in there. If you're a good presenter, you've presented for seminars and webinars, then that can be presented there, because all these are value additions when it comes to a product management role. I hope that was useful. The answer was useful. Is it mandatory to include a photograph in resume? So that's what I made a mention. In your resume, you need not include, it's not necessary that you need to put a photograph. No, I haven't seen much of the resume where, the recent resumes where they've put a photograph. That's where your LinkedIn profile can help you. Work out on a solid LinkedIn profile with all your photographs and things, so that, both of them, the hiring manager can, relate to who you are through your LinkedIn profile. How to respond when it is asked in the interview that some other sort of job is better for you. Why are you appearing for this job interview? Isn't teaching much better for a settled life? Why technical job or industry? Why don't you choose teaching and so on? Interesting question. So when such a question is being asked, you will have to defend your answers, why you're applying for that job. You will have to say, if it's something of marketing job, you'll have to, it's how you defend yourself, because you can tell that I've been looking for always to working on a management role, on a marketing profile, because I'm highly organized and I can work out on big projects, on product, I like meeting people, going out and then interacting with people, and then so that kind of thing. It's up to you how to answer it, because if you're planning to apply for a particular job, then you will have specific reasons why you want that job instead of a teaching job, right? And then you can always mention that if you don't like teaching, you can mention that, I have not been very keen on teaching jobs, and then this is what interests me more, and then that's the reason I'm applying. So you have to defend strongly for yourself and say the reason why you don't want this, and you're looking out for this. The next question is, if we don't know the correct answer for a particular question, what is the best way to convey the same? That's also a good question. So if it's a particular question that you don't know the answer, the way I usually do is, I admit that, sorry, I don't have the definite answer at this point of time. Let me check on that and get back to you. That would be better than rather, telling something, not clear answer, because I'm somebody who usually does that way. Just admit that I don't have the information. We will not have all the information. So there is no problem in admitting that I don't have the information at this point of time, and I'll get back to you. Can you please share a few points in adding references in our resume? What is the actual difference between CV and resume? Yeah. So adding references in your resume can be done. Of course, you can go ahead and do that. But then I don't think there are many hiring managers who actually, reach out to your references to find how well you have done. You can, of course, add, if there are good references, you can, mention at least 2 or 3 references who can be reached out to know better about you. And there is a question, what is the actual difference between CV and resume? Again, here, I'm not fully aware whether that's the difference, but this is what I know. CV and resume are essentially both the same, but I think CV is more applicable to people who are in the research field, and then, where they have done a lot of research activities, thesis related activities, and they list out all their projects and things in, in order. So mostly related to academic settings that can help you when you're applying for maybe teaching positions or, research positions, research fellow kind of positions. And resume would be mostly for the non-academic sections. I think that's a basic difference, because otherwise I haven't found much difference between a resume and a CV. It's something, you can check out as well. There is another question, why should I hire you? Or why do you think you're perfect for this role? Again, that links to what I've mentioned in the initial part. You read the job description, identify the skills they have mentioned in the job description or the expertise they are looking in the job description, and see if you have done something which can be related to this. And that's the reason why they should hire you. Okay. There is a question, what are the platforms in current to seek for the job as a fresher? So I don't have so much of information on that, but definitely I will start with the LinkedIn, I would go in for the, I would post my resume in the LinkedIn profile. And of course, what I have done is now Naukri mostly. I know there are other platforms, but I'm not very well versed with the other platforms. These are the ones which I have tried. I think you should check with your colleagues on the recent platforms, because I have not done a research into that much. Okay, another question. How about learning the in-depth details of the organization where you attend the interview? Generally, they may ask what you, very important. Sorry if I missed this out in my presentation. When you appear for an interview, as you prepare for an interview, always learn about that organization. Go to their website and see what are the key projects, what are the key products that they have in market. Just try to get an overall idea of the organization, their management, the key management, what are the recent news with regard to that organization is working, etc. That's absolutely important. Sorry if I missed that in my presentation. That's important to know what that organization does. Yes. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. When you asked about your strengths, shall we give more focus on integrity, team player, and positive mindset than the depth of your knowledge? Yes, absolutely. So that's what I mentioned. When you speak about your strength, you're not talking about the technical aspect of it. You're mostly talking about how well organized you are, how much you can work as a team player. And the focus on integrity is very important. But then, people can say that I work with integrity and I'm highly rated in this. People can always say that, but integrity is one of the most important aspects which organizations look for currently. I hope all are aware of what integrity means. It's doing the right thing when nobody else is looking, even when nobody else is looking. So integrity is very important. It's one of the core values in most of the not most of the organizations, I believe in every organization. Then the other question that has come up is, I am a BPharm student at Mount Zion Pharmacy. My question is, I'm currently studying BPharm. Will my professional career go downhill if I go to MPharm? Sorry, I would not be able to answer that question because that's something which I don't know why you think if your professional career will go downhill if you go for an MPharm. That's something which you'll have to think about. Depending upon what career you want to choose. If you want to go for a teaching role, or if you want to go for a something kind of a marketing kind of job, probably then MPharm would not be the right option. You'll have to go for an MBA. That would help you. MPharm with MBA is always good, but then after BPharm, you can go for an MBA. So it depends on what career you would like to pursue. How to crack for cross-functional movement. How to crack for cross-functional movement. I didn't get your question completely. I didn't understand your question completely. This is from a candidate from Ames, Kochi. So what I understood was, if you're looking for some other department and trying to move from one department to another department.
Might be same question.
Yeah, okay. So then what you have to do is, maybe you will not have a relevant experience with regard to that particular, suppose you are trying to move from a marketing role to, say, a product development role. Then you don't have an experience with a product development role because your experience has been in marketing. Then one suggestion that can be given is, you can look into your core strengths in terms of how instrumental you have been in managing complex projects kind of thing, or something, how well you've done, how good communicator you are in working in a team. So you can try to take, so the suggestion over here is look into the job description of the product development role and try to take out the key skills you're looking for. Maybe it might be team management, or it might be something like managing complex or managing product launches, wherein you need to have some sort of a project management experience. So look out for the key deliverables of the product development role, and then see whether you have some experience from your current role that can be linked to that. That's the only way out. So that will require a lot of hard work, because then you'll have to see and analyze how best you fit into the other segment. I think that's all in the questions category. I think I've answered all of the questions.
Somebody asked about the LinkedIn ID of your.
Yeah, sure, I will. But then I've not done a great job with my LinkedIn ID. I've done, a basic LinkedIn ID, but then you can do it in a very well way. Go ask for recommendations, write recommendations. That all gives you visibility. So I can, of course, share my LinkedIn profile with you all. I hope the session was useful and some general tips that you can refer to when you make your resume or prepare for the interview.
Conclude the session, sir.
Ginny ma'am?
Can I conclude? Am I audible, Sonu?
More
Very feeble.
Very feeble.
Can I conclude the session, sir?
Yeah, please.
Resume shows a future employer what we have done in the past. It details our skills and training, work experience and education, and most importantly, the accomplishments we have made with the past employers. The session was really informative, and thank you so much, ma'am, for providing such an excellent session. Also, I would like to express wholehearted gratitude to the organizers of the webinar for giving me an opportunity to moderate the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was an extraordinary session, very informative and well interactive. On behalf of all the participants, as reflected in the chat box, I would like to convey heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am, to Minu ma'am, as well as to the moderator, Ginny madam.
Thank you so much.
As a token of gratitude and appreciation, KPGA and IPGA would like to present you the same, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I hope this combined effort of IPGA and KPGA and this webinar will help you to move miles forward in your career with a piece of information you received from this webinar. And you all will be able to self-portray yourself in big canvas. So be yourself and be the best version of yourself. Chase your dreams. And for the kind attention of all the participants, the e-certificate link is provided in the chat box. So please use the same to get the e-certificate. Here comes the official ending of the session. I'm much delighted to invite a distinguished former professional, Dr. Sajid CI, Vice President, IPGA-Kerala Chapter, Professor and Vice Principal, Grace College of Pharmacy, Palakkad, to propose the vote of thanks. With much respect, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sonu. A grateful and warm good evening to all. Now we come to an end of this webinar. Prior to ending it up, let me share a few words of gratitude and warmth to all of you. It's my privilege to have been asked to extend vote of thanks to all who gather here. First of all, I extend very hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Srikumar sir, President, KPGA, Kerala State Branch, for giving presidential address with encouraging words. Thank you, sir. my humble duty to thank one of the eminent personality, Dr. Satish Kumar sir, President IPGA Kerala State Branch, for delivering the welcome address. Thank you, sir. I wish to express my deep sense of gratitude to our eminent speaker, Mrs. Minu Treasa, Regional Marketing Manager, Terumo Blood and Cell Technologies, Belgium, for her outstanding talk on resume writing and interview tips. Thank you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to thank inspiring personality Abdul Nasser sir, General Secretary KPGA, for declaration of winners of the essay writing competition. Thank you, sir. I am extremely thankful to Dr. Sandhya, Executive Member KPGA, for delivering the report on World Health Day essay writing competition. Thank you, ma'am. I am grateful to Dr. Ginny, Executive Member IPGA, Professor, Delview College of Pharmacy, Trivandrum, for being the effective moderator and handling the session in a wonderful way. Thank you so much, Dr. Ginny. And also, I extend sincere gratefulness to all the members and executive members of KPGA and IPGA for conducting this excellent program in a very successful way. With due respect and gratitude, I express my humble thanks to all the participants for your kind, patient listening and cooperation for today's webinar. I once again, on behalf of IPGA and KPGA, express our sincere thanks to each and everyone. Thank you for being with us this evening. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for your valuable time and the patience and the presence throughout the session. So the future of Indian pharma community, the young pharmacists who gathered here, believe in yourself, chase your dreams, and create your success story. Wishing you all the very best. It's me, Sonu Benny, signing off. Let's all race for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जन गण मन अधि
Thank you so much. Have a safe time ahead.